I'm Hierophant, and today we're going to be doing my most requested video, which is the THOTH Reader's Course, THOTH, THOTH, however you'd like to pronounce it, Reader's Course. We're going to do Majors Part 2. What is it? It is an oversimplified version of the THOTH course. I like to pronounce it THOTH. So if you want a more detailed course, link in the description for someone who spends almost 40 minutes to an hour on each card. So much more detailed there. Here, we're just trying to get you to read. I want to get you to read, just enough to be able to read with it and have fun. Then you can sort of dive in later and get into the 100-hour full course that everyone else offers. We'll just get you here to read. So the first or the next card that we have in the majors is the Hierophant, however you like to pronounce it, zodiacal trump of Taurus. What is Taurus? It's a stable sign, right? It's a stable sign. It's a rock solid sign. It's also a bit on the stubborn side. Many decks will see this major as being a religious icon or religious person, maybe a leader as well. Let me zoom in a little bit. Maybe a religious leader as well. You could have any type of leadership that points to this, all sorts of different meanings for this. So on the path of life, we're talking about path, on the tree of life, we're talking about path 16, which is where wisdom joins mercy. So you have wisdom, mercy, a very nice card, a very nice message overall, right? So at the bottom here, we have the sword-bearing scarlet woman, basically sort of a Venus type character who rules Taurus, and she's carrying the moon, by the way, which is exalted in the sign of Taurus. We have Taurus, Taurus, and more Taurus all around the card, right? So the four beasts represent the four fixed signs of the zodiac. For example, we have the lion, which is going to be one of the fixed signs. Scorpio, which is a fixed sign of water, represented by the eagle. We have Aquarius, which is represented by the man. And then finally we have the Taurus, which is represented by the bull, right? So his throne is sort of flanked by elephants, as you see, and all sorts of interesting and dynamic symbolism within here. So again, a lot of decks will use this as a symbol of a religious leader or some type of leader. And again, you can go back to the astrology as well and look at Taurus. Maybe you have a bit of a stubborn side. Maybe you're just rock solid reliable, and we never know. So if we're using this in a reading, for example, we could have the Emperor. I met a new guy. How is he? He could be some type of leader. He could be stubborn, but overall, he's definitely going to be reliable. As a Taurus, he's going to be a reliable figure as well. Because he's stubborn, we could have interference. You remember this card? So we met a man. He's a reliable leader and everything, but we have an interference sort of getting in the way of a lot of things that we want to do or he wants to do because of just the stubbornness and things like that. So maybe we have interference, and then we come along, and after all of that, we have peace, right? Peace. Or we have sorrow. Remember Saul rose? Or we have sorrow at the end of that because of the stubbornness, because of things like that. So look for leader, look for that Taurus type thing. You can get a book on different astrological signs and sort of see what Taurus represents and what Taurus would represent to you, and sort of put that in to here. Again, religious leader, any type of a leader, etc., etc. So interesting card, and one of the I guess not exactly my favorite card to pull, but hey, the Hierophant it is, the Hierophant it is. And next we get into the Lovers, which is my favorite card to pull because everybody loves the Lovers. So this is the zodiacal trump of Gemini. On the Tree of Life, we're talking path 17, understanding linked to beauty. So understanding beauty, all sorts of awesome things. Everybody knows the Lovers. That's a favorite card. It's used in movies forever and ever and ever. So we have the Orphic egg at the bottom, which we'll see again here in the Hermit, which is interesting. So we have the Orphic egg here. And then the children represented, well, the children of the bride and groom are represented by Cain and Abel. And the officiating priest is the hermit again. So these two are really linked here, as you can see. So the hermit, not only the Orphic egg, but this is supposedly being officiated by the hermit himself. And an interesting note that we have Cupid up here. And Cupid is not pointing an arrow at either one of these people in the card. He's sort of pointing an arrow over here. So it's an interesting aspect of this card is, what is the Cupid doing? Is the Cupid sort of nerfing himself or making himself weaker, or is he just sort of being useless? I'm like, why is he not aiming the arrow, the Cupid's powerful Cupid's arrow, at anyone else? So using this in a reading is obviously going to be simple, right? Pretty simple with the lovers. I met a new guy. What do you think? Well, we have the lovers. We definitely have a potential relationship going on. And that relationship could have some interference after a few months or a few weeks. So we could have some interference with it. The relationship could break up and we could have sorrow as well. Or we could have the sun. The relationship works out. Everything is great. It turns into a happily ever after. Well, maybe happily ever after with the cups. So a lot of good different types of cards that we can put in here. Let's see, we have anything else that would be sort of fun to stuff in there? No, not really. So we just have the lovers. Everyone sort of knows this card. This is not going to be a mystery. When you see it, it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. A lot of people, have that. So what if we have at the end of the lovers, we have completion. So we have completion, meaning that it works out, and this is your happily ever after at this point, right? So we have completion, and everything works great, and everything's happy, etc., etc. So met a man, it turns into the lovers. So what if it's upside down? Maybe the relationship doesn't work out. Maybe this is not the right person for you. Maybe instead of completion, we have interference. This person causes an interference in your life. It's not somebody that you really want to be with for a long period of time. Maybe you have a quick fling with them if that's what you want. But overall, we're looking at interference at the end of that particular thing. So let's move on to the next card, which is going to be the Chariot. Again, another one that everyone knows. Everyone knows and loves the Chariot. So the Chariot is the Lord of the Triumph of Light on path 18 of the Tree of Life, speaking of which, linking understanding to severity. Now, you'll notice we have this canopy of stars and star-type things. So that sort of represents the night sky as we go through here. And we have the charioteer who's holding the Holy Grail. Obviously, the Holy Grail is the cup which Christ drank from at the Last Supper, and that is sort of a symbolism that we have here, holding the cup and holding it outward toward us. So that we kind of question, is he offering the cup to us? Is this an offering of the Holy Grail? And as far as the zodiac goes, we're looking at Cancer, which is a love, family, very family, stable family type sign as well. So one interesting thing that everyone notices about all chariots and most chariots and most decks is the fact that it's not moving and it's sort of stuck. A lot of chariots will have, wheels made of stone that are firmly planted in the ground. Here we have obstacles for the chariot to move forward, and one of the old school type relationships that we come to when we talk about the chariot is, what if the chariot, well, here we have the crab of Cancer. So what if the chariot actually is not moving for a reason? What if we're stuck? What if we're supposed to be moving but we're stuck? And that's one of the definitions that you read in a lot of books of the chariot, that maybe it's stuck, maybe it's not going anywhere. But of course, a lot of decks have the chariot just riding as fast as it can. So either way is acceptable, and whatever way sort of jives with you as well. So let's for instance say the chariot is moving, for example, and it is the sign of Cancer. We could be looking at a love relationship. This is a very stable, very family-oriented love relationship. We could do this. We go forward, move forward, the Chariot, move forward with the love relationship, right? So we have that combination, move forward with the love relationship, and that could be great, and we could have completion, meaning we have long-term, and we have a love and life ever after that's going to happen from this. Could be amazing, but the Chariot, normally in tarot, the Chariot is represented by movement, and that's 90% of the time, pardon me with the shake, 90% of the time you'll see the Chariot as movement. Could be movement towards a love relationship, could be movement maybe away from a love relationship. Maybe the love relationship went bad, and now we have a movement away from the love relationship. You could also use, again, that sort of a mixed symbolism that we have here. What if we're being offered the Holy Grail? What if this is something like that? What if the Chariot is not moving? What if it's stuck? What if it's supposed to be moving, but it's not? We could have that as well. So we have a love relationship that's supposed to be moving forward, but it's not. It's sort of stalled. And we have, because it's stalled, we have interference, right? Or something like that. So definitely a lot of interesting things that the Chariot represents. And let's move on to the next card, which is going to be Adjustment, which is the zodiacal trump of Libra. Libra, as you know, from Astrology 101, is going to be sort of a balancing act. And that we have that here with the scales. This is called Justice in most other tarot decks, and Justice sort of represents the scales of justice. If you have a court case, finding justice is going to be good to see. If you have something to where you're trying to negotiate, justice is going to be good because maybe the scales are balanced. And you'll notice, obviously, in this particular card, the scales are indeed balanced. On the Tree of Life, look at Path 22, joining severity and beauty. So, severe beauty. Kind of interesting, right? So it's ruled by Libra. Again, Libra is one of those signs to where it tries to find balance in everything. It tries to negotiate and stuff like that. Maybe we have the Lovers. Where do the Lovers go? Maybe we have the Lovers and everything is going kind of poorly because we need to find that balance. Maybe we have the Lovers. It's going poorly because we need to find that balance. We need to find the balance between maybe giving and receiving, and the love balance, maybe a balance in chores. Maybe one person does too many chores. Balance in money. All sorts of different balances we can have in the relationship. Maybe the balance is off of the relationship, and that's causing interference. Here we have interference. Could also be causing sorrow as well. Everybody's favorite card. Where did I put it? Everybody's favorite card, sorrow. I don't know where I put it. But here it is. Everybody's favorite card, sorrow. We have an imbalance in the relationship, and it's causing sorrow. Remember, sorrow. Anything with Saturn is always going to be interesting. So, yeah, we have that balance in the card. Easy to remember because there's the scales, right? And justice. If you know basic tarot, you'll know justice. And this is going to sort of pick up from that and run with it with justice. Not really a lot to say. Just look for Libra, and you can look at the different definitions of Libra, the type of personality that Libra is, and we're talking about that here. So that fine balance between one aspect and another. You have an argument, you need to resolve it. Libra is going to sort of negotiate and be that negotiator. Again, used a lot in trials. It's good to see with trials if this is good or badly placed. Anything legal matters, anything to where you're trying to get more money at work and you want the balance to be there at work, you're getting paid too little, or, for your work that you do. Always good to get this to know that the balance is incoming, etc., etc. So now we come to the Hermit, everyone's favorite card. So this is the zodiacal trump of Virgo. Virgo is sort of the little bit of hypochondriac, very detailed. So a bit of an introvert as well. We have him staring at the egg again, and this is Tree of Life, Path 20, joining mercy to beauty. So merciful beauty. Think about that. Now Virgo is a mutable sign of Earth, by the way. Mutable being that it's able to change when needed. So if we're running into something bad and you need to make some changes, Virgo is going to be able to make those change. It's a mutable sign. That's going to be different than some of the other majors, which are not going to give way at all, and they're going to be sort of stubborn. A lot of these things are stubborn. A lot of people are stubborn, etc., and they're not going to be able to work with you, right? So the sign of Taurus, for example, is going to be a little bit more stubborn, but Virgo is going to be mutable. So the Hermit is, of course, being alone, right? So the Hermit carries the lamp of the sun, which sort of gives light to the world. And we have the three-headed guardian of the gates of the underworld down here. So a very interesting thing, as well as a sort of a representation of sperm right here as well. So the Virgo has a lot of mixed messages as with it. The main one with the Hermit is going to be being alone, right? The alone, the solitude, and things like that. Let's say we have a relationship, or the lovers went bad and now we're alone. Maybe we prefer to be alone. Maybe we're destined to be alone. Maybe for us, alone means completion. We had a relationship, we broke up because we like to be alone. A lot of people, especially today with social media and things like that, they'll sort of get their people fix online, you know what I'm saying? So they enjoy being alone, they enjoy the solstice, and they enjoy the time to meditate, time to reflect, and things like this. And a lot of times you just enjoy being alone, and you'll sort of get your people fix from social media, or you'll get your people fix from video games, MMOs and video games and things like that. And you don't really mind being alone because you have that interaction already online, and you talk to people and chat and things like that. So a lot of people just enjoy being alone. Reversed, maybe you don't enjoy being alone. Maybe you desire that relationship. You don't enjoy being alone, you desire that relationship so you can get completion to a love relationship and all of this other stuff. Maybe you've been alone and you're sort of moving to new territory, like here. So we have the Chariot, so you're moving out of being alone. You dislike being alone. Maybe you're trying to not be alone and you're running into interference. All sorts of different combinations with this card, which is always cool because the Thoth is my favorite deck, as you can tell. And lastly, today, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I have an unusual definition for the Wheel of Fortune, which is the cycle of life goes round and round. We keep going round and round in the cycle of life. So it's one of those things to where possibly, by the way, this is the zodiacal, the planetary trump of Jupiter. Jupiter, the expansion, making big, making larger. And path 21 on the tree of life, mercy to victory, merciful victory, right? So Crowley talks about that this represents the universe as it changes state, right? The constant moving of the changing state. Have the Hermit, not even sure how to pronounce it, the Typhon and the Sphinx all sort of rolling around here. And with my definition, I point out that again, the world goes round and round, daily activities, daily chores. This kind of defines us, right? The stuff we do on a daily basis. We get up, we drive our car to work, we do certain stuff at work. We go to the store, we go visit our relatives on the weekend or whatever. The daily life, the daily round and round about life is what I see as this represents. And again, that's different from the traditional representation. But the Wheel of Fortune, the life goes round and round. Maybe we're looking to get off. That life goes round and round and find us a relationship. Find us some lovers. Maybe we're looking for lovers, or maybe even a lover friend, somebody that we can get in touch with and things like that. Maybe we're tired of being alone. We got the Hermit, upside down Virgo. Maybe we're tired of being alone. We want to get some friends. So we're going to get off of the wheels that goes round and round because we're lonely, and we're going to find some friends or what have you. A lot of different things what you can do with the Wheel of Fortune. Also a very interesting card as well. A lot of definitions. We'll talk about the Wheel of Fortune being something good is coming. So the Wheel of Fortune, you sort of roll the lottery you know, the lottery when they'll have all the balls and everything and rolling around. You're sort of rolling the dice per se, and getting the Wheel of Fortune means maybe something good is coming. Maybe the Wheel of Fortune is good, and then we'll have completion. So one of those things to where you can have a lot of different reads, a lot of different definitions for the Wheel of Fortune as well. It's a very cool card, and pretty much everybody likes this. So another one is the Change of Fortune. It means good, again, we're back to good fortune. A change of fortune, maybe everything was shit, and now we just need everything to get better. So maybe we had a blockage before, we had interference, and everything is getting better, and now we're looking at a change in fortune or a good fortune. Either way, the fortune card or the Wheel of Fortune is always a good card to see, and definitely a good card to have in the deck. Maybe if it's upside down, we don't have much of that good fortune. The interference has caused us to have misfortune or bad fortune. Either way, that is it. So that is the Wheel of Fortune, otherwise known as Fortune. So thank you so much for watching, and I want to thank my Patreon supporters. What is that, you ask? Those are people that pay me money to let me get software and cameras and things like that that will allow me to make these videos. If you would like to join them on Patreon, please look at the link below to Patreon. I want to thank Annie Lemaster. I want to thank Allie Cat, Crystal McGinn, Gary Fink, Hot Chocolate, Janet Littler, Jessica Mentel, KSW La Ami, Peter, who's retired, Richard Zeh, Scott Miller, Shintaro Kuga, and Trina Ioverio. Thank you all so much for supporting me and allowing me to make these videos. I greatly appreciate it. If you like these videos, please support me by hitting like and subscribe. It gets more people in traffic onto the channel so I can make more videos and get the word out to more people about reading tarot, doing astrology, doing Lenormand, all that fun stuff. So thank you again for watching, and have a great day.